Alrighty, folks, if you are a real estate investor, you are undoubtedly looking for a great real estate agent. Unfortunately, they are all not created equal. Most real estate agents probably are more comfortable, or actually are more comfortable, dealing with home buyers. They don't really speak the language of investors. What I thought I would do in this conversation and talk with Casey from Brick by Brick Wealth and say, what do we expect, or what do we like when we are working with real estate agents? And yes, we will probably drop a couple of things we hate as well. But Casey, let's talk about this, because again, a great real estate agent is a gold mine for real estate investors. But unfortunately, most of them, not so good. What do you think?
Realtors are like Starbucks. They're a dime a dozen. There's one on every corner. Everyone's a realtor. It doesn't take a lot of work to get your license. Look, that's my license up there, my California real estate broker license that I got in 2007. I was a real estate agent, so all the, smack talk that I could say about realtors, I know firsthand what it's like. I know what a good realtor should do. I know what bad realtors do. I know what lazy realtors do, and all the things, especially having worked with, helped over 100 so students go through this process and them choosing realtors and all the things. Realtors really are a thorn in my side,
Yeah.
So I think there's a big misconception out there on what realtors are supposed to do versus what they are actually going to do. And I think the biggest hindrance that we have as investors, especially new investors, I talk to new investors a lot, is that investors put too much weight into what their realtor says. I mean, I can tell you as an investor, I can tell you hands down, and as a real estate, license holder, they don't teach you real estate investing in real estate school. They teach you how to sell real estate, really, for homeowners, for home buyers. They don't teach you any methods on, how to evaluate real estate. They don't tell you about the market and what tenants want and anything like that. They don't teach you how to run the numbers. They teach you how to sell a house. So I think there's a misconception there on what is a realtor's knowledge level, and they all don't know what we're expecting them to know, first of all.
Oh yeah. So first and foremost, I don't think I've said this in a while. Once I left work in 2018, I got my real estate license in California because I assumed, incorrectly as it turns out, that there was some super secret information inside the MLS that I couldn't get anywhere else. That was 100% the only reason. I had no intention of taking clients. Yes, I would use it for my own deals. But once I got, certified or passed or whatever, that little blue certificate you have behind you, I realized that the MLS, outside of some like broker comments or agent comments, there was really nothing secret or hidden that is as of value. So I let that license go immediately, never used it, didn't renew, nothing. So first off, I was actually pretty disappointed that I, spent, weeks and, hundreds of hours studying and passing the exam the first time, which I got to tell you surprised me because I didn't study that well and I still passed. So it just tells you it's not that hard. I fully expected not to pass, but hey, I did. But yeah, there was nothing there. So back to the kind of what I hear from real estate investors is, I can't tell you how many times I have heard the following statement: Michael, I found the perfect real estate agent. It's the perfect. She or he is the best. And I got to tell you, the chances of you finding the best real estate agent in your market, that quickly are not great. What you found probably was a real estate agent that didn't have a lot going, that was willing to travel around with you for a couple of hours, and they're just thirsty for business. Yeah. I would not be in a rush to sign a contract saying, you're my agent for any length of time. Maybe you're my agent on this house. Like if you show me a house, you deserve to get paid. But yeah, I'm not signing one of those agreements that says, you're my agent, because that could cost me money for sure.
Yeah. So what real estate agents are good for, in my opinion, right? If you don't have a license and have the little keys to open the door, they're good for opening the door. They're good for getting you in. They're good for getting you in the property, and they're good for filling in the blanks on the contract. Now, everyone's going to come and hate me in the comments, all these realtors. But look, I was a real estate agent. I work with real estate agents all the time, and they don't gonna know what you know, and even if they do, you should not be relying on them at all, one iota, to tell you what you should invest in and why. That is up to you. And you need to know your market, and you need to know your numbers. That's why, like, in my coaching program, I do it a little backwards. My students learn their market first, like the back of their hand. They know how to analyze, they can write cash flow numbers, and then we find a team. If you go find and build, gives me the chills. If you go find and build a team first, you're relying on their knowledge and you're getting lazy. That's simple facts. So realtors are good for opening the door, and they're good for signing the contracts and filling the blanks. Now, let me tell you something that sucks, okay, that I have run across that just sucks. So, Blake and I are all looking for the dream home all the time. And, we'll always go look, and we'll go look at open houses, and we'll contact ones that are for sale by owner and talk to them. Unfortunately, real estate agents have this stigma that if an owner wants to make their own offer on a property that's listed on the MLS, they aren't going to take you as seriously. They think you don't know what you're talking about, and they treat you like utter crap. So unfortunately, in the industry, it doesn't always behoove you as an owner, like as an investor or a solo buyer, to make your own offer, to really do that in a lot of cases, because you are going to be treated poorly. They don't respect you. Realtors do not expect people that come in and make their own offers. It's a negative. So in that aspect alone, sometimes it is better to work, depending upon the market and the type of property, all the things, to work with a real estate agent, in my opinion, because you're not going to get taken as seriously if you're writing your own offers. I don't know what your thought is on that, but that's absolutely what I have run across.
Yeah, I guess the place where I really struggle with most real estate agents is they always want to kind of do the negotiation. And I haven't met one that kind of met my criteria for negotiating. I don't mind. In fact, I've leveraged real estate agents to write offers all the time. Again, I've talked about on this channel, I have agents that kind of just have my default set up, because I do write lots of offers, so they can get it done in 2 minutes flat, because it's it's address, price, it's a very standard offer for me. But yeah, I don't want them negotiating on my behalf, right? I hate when they kind of play this telephone game. Because if in today's environment, I'm really writing 2 offers most of the time, because I'm doing the research on the property to figure out how much equity they likely have. And I want one offer to be cash and frankly disrespectful. And then the other one I want to be reasonable, but with seller financing. And most agents, unless I really train them, won't have that conversation. And it's just a waste of effort. So that's very frustrating.
It is, because, the real estate agent is supposed to be you. They are representing you on your behalf. And when, you can negotiate better than the realtor, it's very, very frustrating. And I've had people email me and, oh, Casey, who can you recommend in Memphis? And I'm like, nobody. Yeah. I can't recommend anybody, because I run through real estate agents like water, because I'm better. That's just the answer. And so it sucks, and the biggest thing with, like, the last guy that I worked with, which he's great, and he did several deals with me, but he's not the best negotiator. And, I don't, ask for seller financing and stuff. Sometimes I will if I need to. Hasn't happened yet as far as having worked. Matter of fact, last week, made an offer on his lake house again, the same house I tried to buy last year. Lake houses don't move, hardly any sell. So there's not a lot of inventory. I said, how about seller? Talk to my realtor. Let's do seller financing. Oh, well, why would anybody want to do that? And I said, look, we can negotiate on terms, and I can give him what he wants, but I know his rate's 2.5%. Why don't we, I'll pay what he owns, what he owes. We can start at 5%. Oh, why would he want to do a lower interest rate?
The fact the fact that agent is negotiating against you, is insulting.
I know. And I'm so mad at her.
You should be. That is a horrible agent.
Yeah. She's been really good in the past, she really has. She's good with a lot of things. The thing is, I don't live nearby. So she understands stuff that I don't know about: dock inspections, lake rules, all these things, water line, white line, red line, a lot of stuff that I have no knowledge in. She's got a really great list of contractors and stuff that can fix things and that are local, which is really important. So she's really good with that. But I'm really upset this time because she's mad at, she's mad at me that I'm not offering more for the property. And that my offer this year was less than last year. And I'm like, you show me any properties that have
Yeah.
increased in value since 2023 in that market. Like, it just isn't fair.
Right.
So, how about seller finance? She doesn't understand it. And like, that's the thing, as investors, and yes, we'll use it as our primary, like as a vacation home, our thing, but it's still an investment.
Absolutely.
And your realtor should have some knowledge of some of these tools and and strategies, and when they're needed. And I didn't think I would need a seller financing strategy, so whatever, but it is what it is. You win some, you lose some. Sometimes you find out realtor strengths and weaknesses as time goes on, as things get brought up. But for the most part, like if you're buying long-term rentals, like minus like the lake house and short-term rental possibility, your realtor is not going to be some magical unicorn that is going to provide you off-market deals. Yeah, freaking right. Every time I talk to people, they're like, well, I want my realtor to find me off-market deals. They aren't going to do that. What they're going to do is they're going to maybe have a pocket listing, which I think is even illegal now, but they're going to have a pocket listing they know that are coming on the market that they can maybe try and do off-market. But even then, as a realtor with the R in the circle around, retro trademark, as a realtor, their fiduciary duty is to their seller and to give their seller the best price. So it is not in their best interest, and it's not ethical for them to sell a property that they will have the listing to sell their property below market value. Their fiduciary duty to their seller is to list the property on the open market to get the highest and most amount that they can. So no one's going to be finding you off-market deals that they're going to end up listing and get you some amazing deal. That's kind of against the rules.
Yeah. Yeah. The biggest thing for me also on this is most real estate agents really don't speak the investor language, right? They don't really understand. Well, they kind of get buy box. That's just kind of filters to them, but they don't understand cash on cash or yield. They don't even understand gross rent multiple and cap rate, all these other very investor vocabulary. They often try to pretend to, and they probably go Google search it or chat GPT it after the phone call, but it is kind of embarrassing. They also don't understand where the value is, right? Value for landlords specifically usually go to bedrooms, bathrooms, parking, fenced yards, things of that nature. Often they're very trained, got to be in a good school district, but as Dion says, that's not something he looks for because he doesn't want his tenants to age out. There's very investor, focused things, and it's often opposite of what a home buyer is looking for. So they just get all kind of confused.
One other thing I think is good that realtors are good for, besides opening the door and filling in the blanks, right? Knowing maybe some local contractors. If you're not familiar with that area, they really do have those good connections, which I would lean on. I would use those first before trying to find some random online, for sure. Use them. But they also are good, and they have the MLS, right? And unlike Zillow, where you can run comps, you can pull data. It's limited it's only going to give you back so many months, but they can run expired listings in 3 seconds. They can give you a list of properties that were withdrawn. And if you are looking to find off-market deals, or maybe find those and contact people yourself, you can get a list of expireds and withdrawns from your realtor that's more difficult to find on your own. Now, I'm sure like PropStream and all those, I'm sure like things like that you pay for can probably offer that. Mm-hmm. But for free, your realtor can do that for you in literally 3 seconds and pull you a report. And they can also pull you past listings and photos, which is really cool. Now, I found that homes.com is my new, and we talked about it once before a long time ago, but homes.com is my new favorite free online tool, because homes.com will tell you how, details about the last sale. They'll tell you equity. It tells you, one of my favorite things, especially if you're looking for investing, is what percentage in the neighborhood is renter versus owner. So,
nice.
Yes, you can find out so fast. Is this an A, B, C, or D neighborhood? What percentage of this neighborhood is renters versus owners? It's got a lot of great information that is free, and you don't have to pay for like PropStream and stuff.
Yeah. At the end of the day, I do think real estate investors need to continually network with real estate agents, because again, I really do believe when you do find that unicorn, they're worth 10x what they get paid. It's just, unfortunately, you got to kiss a lot of frogs. You're going to you're going to have to talk to dozens and dozens to find it. But once you do, they're, you know, the real estate agents who focus on investors, especially residential investors, there's not a lot of them, but there's a few in every market. When you find them, hold on to them.
You know what? Some of my favorite, tricks, for finding a good investor-friendly realtor. Not investor-friendly, meaning they will work with investors, because they all will. Okay, if you have a pulse, they'll work with you. But investor-friendly, meaning they understand investments. Property management companies. Okay, now
good call.
Yes, my fave. So if you are going to have your property managed, now if anyone does have a property management company doing their properties, probably 100% of those agreements that you sign with the PM are going to say that they get the right to list your house if you want to sell.
Probably. Yeah.
So what does that mean? They are realtors too. And if you're looking for someone that is going to have, not, doctor style, doctor grade contractors are going to charge you $1 zillion for stuff. Like if you had a doctor, a house like a rich home. If you're looking for an investor pricing, subcontractors and contractors, if you are looking for a real estate agent who understands the rental market, understands what tenants want and where the better areas and tenants want this or that in these certain neighborhoods and what properties will rent for and type of upgrades that are needed to get whatever cash flow, you know who's going to know that? The real estate agents that work with the property management companies or are in-house at the property management company. Some might, now I have tons of realtors that I recommend in other areas, right? I'm just kind of a brat when it comes to out here. But those ones, they work with property management companies, or most all of their clients are investors. And that's a question you ask. What percentage of your clients, Mr. and Miss Realtor, are investors versus owner occupies? If 90% of them are owner occupies, they aren't going to be able to help you. And a key, this is, if anyone's still watching at this time, this is so key. You ask that real estate agent, if I gave you a house, give you an address to a house, would you be able to tell me how much it would rent for? If they can't tell you that, they go, oh, well, let me get a property management person, property manager to look at it, or let me run a rentometer report. Okay. No. But if they can give you the answers, boom, if they know the answers, you want your realtor to know just as much as a property management company.
I love that. Casey, this is always a fun conversation. Again, folks, we're not ragging on real estate agents. We know most of them do amazing work for home buyers. We're just ragging on real estate agents who try to pretend to be investor friendly. There are some of you out there that are amazing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But hey, a lot of your peers, not so good. Casey, closing thoughts and where they can find you?
You got to have a rant sometime, and it's okay. I love real estate agents. I have been one. I have my license still. And I think it's just like when I used to be a server at a restaurant. I highly critique servers and servers at restaurants. Why? Because I was one, and I know a good one and a bad one. I know what they mean. I know what it takes, and I know where people are being lazy and falling short. I expect excellence, as we all should. So it is what it is, and I don't sugarcoat. Anyways, thanks for watching. You can find me on YouTube. That's my new favorite platform, Brick by Brick Wealth. And you can check out my website, brickbybrickwealth.com.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.